in our brain, there's a map, a body map where we get sensory information from our body, right? It's like our brain's kind of like, oh, we're receiving sensory information from our hands. Someone's touching our hands, someone's touching our cheek, that kind of thing. And in our brain, on the body map, the feet are right next to the genitals.
Wow.
Yeah. And so there's some theory of like some neural crossover where something happens neurally where those two are associated.
Okay.
I
That's
think that's
really,
fascinating.
that is so interesting. So that might be a reason why a foot fetish has become such a common term, a
100%.
common, people automatically, when you think fetish, you think feet, right? A lot of people think
100%.
feet. And so that would kind of explain why that would be such a popular area of interest.
Exactly. Exactly. And they've even done studies on individuals who have lost a foot. And literally, those patients feel orgasms in their phantom foot. And that's so
Hang on.
cool.
People that already had a foot fetish,
They,
you mean?
no foot fetish.
How
Sorry.
do they find these people? They're like, we need volunteers for people that have a foot fetish and have lost their foot.
Sorry, they did not already have a foot fetish. They were just exploring, I think, this connection in the brain. I'm not quite sure, but they found people with an amputated foot could feel orgasms in their phantom foot. I think that's so cool.
Well, and now it makes me wonder if we should all have an orgasm, not live, but like, and see, like, I don't know, pay attention to your feet. Like, do you feel something in your
I
feet?
mean, we talk all the time in the media about toes curling, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
so common for like feet to be associated in that way of like, oh, like, she's not faking it if her toes are curling.
So in the book, She Comes First,
Mm-hmm.
they talk about how to, it's basically a how-to guide for men in heterosexual relationships to learn how to perform cunnilingus on their female partner, which is oral sex on a vulva. And they talk about how to determine and identify if she is in fact having an orgasm or just signs. You're not gonna know for a fact, but but like, telltale signs. They say like what you see in the media, which is like a woman arching her back, and I want to say they said and toes curling in are actually not what often happens for a woman who is having an orgasm. That actually they would be hunching. I mean, it doesn't sound very glamorous, like hunching forward, and your feet.
That
I think
sounds sexy.
it's so sexy, and I think your feet actually flex out. Everyone's going to need to have an orgasm and
Yes.
think about their
No,
feet
you're
now.
right.
Am
You're
I
right.
right? Your toes
Yes,
don't curl.
no, we think of them curling, but if you listen to Andrew Huberman, which is a neuroscientist, he's talked about fetishes a little bit, and he talks about them curling backwards.
Right.
Yeah.
So if your female partner says she's having an orgasm and her toes are curling in, I think you have the right to maybe be a little suspicious of that. But wow, I feel like I was just shouting a second ago. So
I think we just got really excited about
really
toes
into that
and
for
orgasms. I love it. And so you were right. This is a super common fetish on a very popular pornography website. I won't say it because I don't know what the rules are around that.
Apparently, you can't say the word fetish, so we're already banned.
On that porn website over the last year of 2022, the most popular term searched around fetishes were feet, by far.
Hence why we have the word feet in our title, so that
Exactly.
people will find us.
What else is interesting on that same website? Women have searched it in the last year 148% more.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, has there been more men? More
men have too, but only by, let me see here, 10%.
Women are really getting on board with the foot fetish, huh?
Yeah.
But like historically, has it been primarily more of a male fetish? I mean, I think stereotypically we think men have more of a fetish with feet. You don't hear too many women talking about it. But if it is connected to just where your mapping is in your brain, it would make sense that could be a possibility for anybody.
For sure. For sure. And people have talked about too with like the foot fetish is like when you think of worshiping someone, right? Like kissing their feet, right? Some people might really like the idea of them being worshipped. And so they like need that stimulation on their feet to feel that like validation.
I wonder if there's a cultural piece to that.
Maybe, right? Yeah. Or if you like being submissive, like you maybe really enjoy providing that, kissing somebody else's feet, right? Like being that submissive partner might be part of it too. Not necessarily the feet, but like the symbolism of it, and then it gets connected, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And shoes are also a really common fetish, I think, with that association with feet.
Okay.
You know? Or like there's been a lot of association with like high heels, right? Being very, very sexy. And so that's like really common as well. Fishnets, high heels, tights.
I wonder if that's still, I feel like those were more of like a thing of the 80s and 90s. Like, are people
good question
fetishizing like black nylons, you know, nowadays in the ways they used to? Or
it's Crocs now. Just Crocs.
People are fetishizing Birkenstocks and like
which if you are, we're not laughing at you if you are. We're not laughing at you, I promise.
You know, trends, whatever's trending now.
Exactly. We're laughing at the different trends about how like high heels used to be sexy and now Crocs are sexy.
Now your Ugg slippers are, you know, sexy.
Exactly.